From the CNET studios in San Francisco, California, it's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy podcast with the creator of the iPhone, Brian Tong.
Oh, yeah, you know you like that thong, from the tong to tong. What's up, everybody? Apple Byte Extra Crunchy here, doing it every week from San Francisco. Thank you for that nice... You know what? I am the creator of the iPhone.
You're the creator of the iPhone.
People that have no idea what that is might want to check in. Apple is doing a live event on Monday, March the 21st, which we know about. We do our live coverage here at CNET at 9 a.m. We take your live phone calls. We take your tweets. It's a really engaging, interactive experience, much like this show. But that's where the iPhone was first announced and released and showcased.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty impressive, let me tell you. All right, we are here, episode 30 of the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in and listening. A lot of people are starting to watch us live, as well as actually watching the video version, which we just decided to put up as a complimentary piece.
Yeah, it was just kind of a thing that we were like, we can do this easily, so why not?
Why not just give it to them video and audio? Again, this show is all about you, and you'll see that. Call us at 1-800-616-2638. That is our hotline. You can just call us with your name, where you're from, your questions, your comments, your thoughts, reflections, and yes, we accept bad apples as well.
Yes.
Because we know there's a whole lot of them. Try to keep your call around 30 seconds. You'll be part of the show, and you can find us on TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, Livestream. Or just come over here to San Francisco. Maybe we'll let you in the studio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Holler.
All right, let's get into it. We want to set things up. The March 21st event is a few days away. For people that listen to this after March 21st, I'm sorry, you're screwed. But like we have expected, 9.7-inch iPad Pro, iPhone SE, bringing back the 4-inch phone. But when we talk about the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, according to 9to5Mac, it is expected the starting base price of this new iPad will start at $599, making it the most expensive 9.7-inch iPad Apple has released, at least as a base price. It'll come in a 32 gig and 128 gig capacities. The iPad Air 2 is expected to still stick around, although the inventory levels of that are going to probably dwindle, and it will most likely go away. But that will be your $499 iPad. I don't know if Apple's going to drop the price on that, maybe to even $449. You think they might show a little love?
Hopefully, because that's a very expensive starting price. I mean, if you get Apple Care plus tax, you're looking at close to $800.
What about a case? What about
a case?
And
that's
we know
like another $40, $50.
And we know this one is supposed to support the Apple Pencil.
Oh! All right, yeah.
That's $1,000, baby. That's $1,000. You better come with it if you're gonna get the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. But we know it'll have a smart connector so that you can use the Apple keyboard, smart keyboard that will be sized appropriately for this 9.7-inch iPad. It also has stereo speakers and a better camera than the iPad Pro. We've talked about this. But the new news from this story is that $599 is expected to be the starting price point. It's a little high for a product that people, again,
for 32 gigs too. That's not much.
Again, nothing tells me that this is going to move the needle for Apple in any way, shape, or form when it comes to their iPad platform.
No, it's like almost just like maintaining what they have now.
Yeah.
Minor updates.
There will be, thank you for pointing that out on the Periscopers, there will be LTE options, so that's typically, I think, another additional $129 on top of the base price.
Plus the monthly, your monthly service fee.
32 gigs is a good starting base, but again, these are tablets. It should be 32. 16 in the past has been the starting point. If you want to argue that going from 16 to 32 and the tech advancements is a $100 price point and it's worth it, that's fine. You can. It would be dope if they put in 64.
Oh, hell yeah.
But right now, on Apple iOS devices, 128 gigs is the highest storage you've seen. People have been requesting, why doesn't Apple give me 256 in my phone? I don't think we'll see 256 in a phone anytime soon. So don't hold on to that idea. The other product that we expect to see, the iPhone SE. Now reports are saying that the design is pretty much identical to the iPhone 5S. The main difference, right? People have been trying to figure out how grooved or how sharp will these edges be. 9to5Mac is saying that it'll pretty much be the same design, except that the edges, which had that mirror finish on it before.
Oh, yeah.
Which I actually thought was really tight.
It looks nice, yeah.
They will be a duller finish, which will prevent it from getting scratched up, because that pretty much was what allowed that thing to be the most scratched up phone of all time.
Yeah, totally. My phone was
Of all
It
time.
just looked horrible when I was done with it.
It looked like poo poo. I poo poo. Also, it will include a 12 megapixel camera, 4K video. We've talked about that. A picture of the packaging that is rumored to have leaked out. It's confirmed, and this is, I think, I'm going to talk about this in a second. It confirms a 16 gig base storage. Also will have NFC for Apple Pay. But look, Apple needs to wake up. You are telling me that you are still packing 16 gigs on a phone that has a 4K camera?
With no expandable storage.
If you're loading your phones with 4K cameras moving forward, you cannot have a base storage capacity of 16 gigs.
No.
No.
That's
you
like
cannot
one video.
do that
You're
anymore.
gonna shoot one video, then you're done.
So I'm just telling Apple right now, fine. You might think it's cute and fancy to do it with this iPhone SE or 5SE or whatever. It is whack, but change that when you do the iPhone 7.
Wait.
Give us a minimum of 32. I would say 64 because really now these days with memory storage, it's not that much, but Apple's going to make their margins. So let's start at 32. Let's just hope that Apple can at least do that. If they release an iPhone 7 with a 16 gig base storage, you know who's throwing out a bad apple, baby.
Many bad apples.
How you like them apples?
Pelt them with apples on the stage.
Destroy them. That would just be stupid. Hands-on videos have been shown off to kind of reveal what are these rumored cases. They fit closely, but not perfect to the 5S. But again, some of these leaked cases aren't actually, we don't know how official they are.
This could just totally be
just
totally
a mock-up case. Yeah, just a mock-up case. So we'll see what happens. 9to5Mac says that at least from what I recall, that reported that the cases should actually still work with the new SE. So we'll find out again Monday, March the 21st. Their announcements start at 10 a.m. We'll have our live coverage pre-show, post-show at 9 a.m. Pacific time. All right, this is also cool for those of you who purchased the Apple TV and have been asking me on Twitter, where's the Apple Events app? I don't see it. Apple recently just threw out their Apple Events live stream app, so it's now available in the tvOS App Store. It is free. You can watch the event on your TV, which, hey, you could do that. Yeah, it's nice. You could do that with the previous Apple TV, but people were kind of getting a little nervous. They're like, what? But I would have to say that you want to listen to our coverage first.
Yeah, our coverage is so much more fun.
Pretty bomb.
It's
pretty dope.
We just have more fun than they do.
It's like you and I talking and shooting it, and then two ladies,
and
Sharon and
Lexi
Lexi, are going to be here.
Yeah.
Scott Stein will be on the phone. It's, we try to, I know it sounds silly, but the best way I describe it to people, it's like the pre-show of the Super Bowl and the post-show of the Super Bowl, but much better.
Yeah.
I don't know about
We do
that.
a great, Brian Tong does a great play-by-play. It's fun.
You mean I just read the blog?
Yes. We read the blog, we show pictures.
And see, Apple used to let us use the live stream of the show. I always thought it was the most effective when we do our talkie. Then we could show the live stream so people wouldn't leave. And then we do our talkie after.
Well, what ends up happening is their live stream messes up or people can't find it, and then they all come to us. So we welcome it. We welcome it.
We welcome you with open arms. All right. Also, in addition to this Apple TV nugget, I love this one. Did you see this? Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yay.
Remastered. Now available on the Apple TV. The Apple TV. So it's an app. You can use the Apple remote. I'm curious how well it works because the requirement is that all games have to use the Apple remote. But, what am I going to slide my finger back for? How accurate is Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega Genesis? Remember when they someone's going to correct me, but they used this term to advertise it that the Sega Genesis was the best console because it had like high speed blast processing. Mm-hmm. That was their name for to show that our console's really fast. It's just a made up marketing term. But Sonic the Hedgehog really started it all. Reportedly, Sonic 2 and Sonic CD will be available later this month.
That's awesome.
Sega!
Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog was known as the fastest video game at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
high-speed blast processing.
High-speed blast.
I'm serious. Someone look it up. Someone look it up and can be like, dude, that's what it was called. I swear. I kid you not. I didn't look it up before this.
It's cool.
This popped up in my mind. All right, just a little update to the Apple versus the FBI story. A report by the New York Times they said about a half dozen of Apple's engineers, and they say, according to the report, that if the FBI wins its court fight, which has yet to be decided, and they're requesting to force Apple to help in unlocking their iPhones, the FBI may run into another roadblock. Apple's engineers, the employees, are already discussing what they will do if ordered by law enforcement authorities to help. Some of them say they won't do the work, while others may even quit their high-paying jobs rather than undermine the security of the software they've created. This is according to more than half a dozen current and former Apple employees. Some of their top engineers that specifically designed iOS have been around the team since the iPod. These are veterans that know the in and outs. One of them is specific to the bug fixes and can identify them. They would leave, which the report also claims would make it hard for them to even kind of build this new, what they're referring internally to as a government iOS, or a goved
GOVTOS.
Why don't they just stick with FBI OS? It's so much catchier.
Oh yeah, it is. That is good.
FBI, you like that?
Yeah, I do like that.
I made that up, but of course everyone
FBIOS.
else made it up. But I did come up with it.
Yeah, so all these guys are like security, programmers, and their jobs are very high in demand. So it would be easy for them just to leave and go get hired somewhere else. And
Look,
that's
yeah.
what a lot of them are saying. It's pretty interesting.
The article is that it's fundamentally offensive to their core principles. And think about it, as an engineer in security whose job your whole life has been like to make sure this is secure, and then someone tells you to not make it secure anymore. It's almost fundamentally
it's like thinking
opposite.
backwards. Like you just can't wrap your head around it. You're like, what? And then they also said it would take up to 10 engineers about a month or so to do this. That's a long time for Apple employees to be working on a project, so I don't know.
Fundamentally, look, everyone makes different analogies. They said one of the analogies in the article was saying it would be like asking a doctor to administer a lethal injection, which is a little extreme.
Yeah.
I would like to compare it more like asking me to put a black streak in my blonde stripe. That is how important this FBI Apple case is. That would ruin the integrity of the blonde streak, therefore diluting my brand and my hair.
You should do that for Halloween next year. Make all your hair blonde and then a black streak. That would be amazing.
Hair OS. Anyways, this is just an interesting article, good read on the New York Times. How Apple internally has already talked about how they would resist if the court order goes in favor of the FBI.
Yeah, my favorite part about this article is that it refers to Tim Cook as Timothy D. Cook, his full name, which I think we should just start to referring him as
Timothy D. Cook.
Timothy D. Cook said today.
We can call him Timmy D.
Timmy D.
Timmy D. TD. Also, there's a full transcript of Timmy D. Cook's interview with Time Magazine. It's a long, long article. There aren't really any major nuggets to parse from it other than the fact that, he calls it like a nightmare. It's a struggle. Apple didn't come up with this decision lightly. There were multiple people on all levels in the room that made this decision, and why he won't back down. Again, it's a long story. But go ahead, read if you want. You can check out Time Magazine's website. I think they have the full transcript there as well for you to read.
Was Steve Jobs ever on Time Magazine? Because I know the movie was he made a big deal about that. He was on it, right?
He was on it. So originally when Apple announced the first, I believe it was the Mac. And they had a generic person.
Yeah, it was like the computer was the person of the year, right?
Yeah, the computer was the person of the year. And it was supposed to be him.
Yeah.
And he just went ape. He just went bananas.
So I wonder if he was alive today and he saw Timothy D. Cook on the cover.
He's been on Time. Steve Jobs has been on Time a few times.
Okay.
I remember him. There was an article when the first iMac came out that kind of had the neck. He was on there. It was inspired by a sunflower. The actual design. Do you know that Mac that I'm talking about?
No.
The iMac. It was an iMac and it had a screen and a neck and then like a semicircle base.
Huh.
He also, I believe, was on Time when he passed. He was also on Time. I would guess, if I had to guess how many times Steve Jobs had been on Time Magazine, he's probably been on it 3 or 4 times in his life. Someone can call in and correct me on that, but I think if I like visualize what I've seen,
Yeah.
probably 3 or 4 times.
He's been in a few magazines.
The adjustable
Cheers.
neck iMac was pretty pimp. Oh, just a few. Wow, I want you to pull up like every single one.
I know.
That's quite a lot. So check out the Time Magazine article. In other news around Apple, and this one is around the actual cloud, a report from VentureBeat says Apple has been planning to build its own cloud. They're calling it Project McQueen. Now, this is the motivation behind it. For the past several months, Apple's been working on this, again, Project McQueen, to really try to become more reliant on their own data centers and infrastructure, because right now it's not really talked about much, but like many services that are on the web, they pay Amazon Web Services or Microsoft's Azure Cloud Service to provide that and deliver the content to us that we need. But Apple hasn't been happy with, we'll call them Amazon. I don't want to call them AWS. It's just Amazon's web services, because it hasn't been able to load their photos and videos onto users' iCloud iOS devices as fast as they want. They feel like it takes too long. So one of the solutions would be to build their own infrastructure, like many other companies have. I believe Dropbox is one of them that got off of using third-party web services and then built their own. Instagram, I do feel Instagram did this as well. Originally, they were on some of these third-party services, but as you grow and as you scale up, there's a point where they can't support them as much. This would also be great for Apple's music and TV subscription service, quite honestly.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Apple looking to develop this their own. They say that if they did build their own infrastructure, it would, cost-wise, they'd be able to pretty much cover the cost for it to run in 3 years after that. And the conversation kind of came up between a Microsoft employee and an Apple employee after they talked about how Apple's growth would prevent Microsoft from continuing to support them at that same level. So Apple's like, maybe we should build out our own. So Apple is looking. This is not a guarantee that it's happening. There have been talks, there have been plans, but there's nothing specific. There has been no actual buildings have been put into place for this Project McQueen, but Apple runs a lot of services on iCloud. Some work better than others. It's all right. Could be better.
The Amazon Web Services have problems too occasionally. Like, I think during the last major hurricane in New York, they went out for a while, or there was some disruptions and stuff. But
they can go down.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes
we've seen
they
that
go down.
before.
Yeah,
and everyone just goes crazy when that does. But that's what Apple's thinking. But even kind of something you always hear the term, you could read the tea leaves, see the future.
Yeah.
I actually saw. And do you know that I'm catching up with Harry Potter right now? I've never seen the actual movies.
Oh, really?
So I got to number 3, and it's just appropriate that there's like a scene where it's Prisoner of Azkaban, and he's reading the tea leaves in the cup. Do you remember that part?
No, I don't.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It's really irrelevant. But Google just scored a huge win against Amazon. Apple is now a customer with Google. They've reportedly signed a contract, this is according to Business Insider, worth between $400 million and $600 million to use Google's cloud platform, taking that business away from Amazon. It's not clear if this is an annual price or a total value of the contract, but it is known that this money has been taken away directly from what they would have normally spent solely on Amazon's web services.
Oh, wow.
So
that's big.
Apple is definitely doing some things, transitioning their services on cloud platforms.
They're making
it's
some
not
changes.
the sexiest stuff, but this is kind of some of that stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah. So, should we get to voicemails?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, please.
We got some voicemails today from some of our fans.
Remember, everybody, y'all listening in, 1-800-616-2638 is the number you can call, and you guys will continue to flood us with more and more. You did say what people call in and just say like they love the show.
Yeah, we've got
but
a lot of calls, just people saying we love the show.
But we're not.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, but we aren't gonna play that. That's like, it's like, isn't it such an ego stroke to talk about how many people love your show?
I know. We just get hundreds of emails, thousands almost. It took me like
call
hours to go
after
through it.
call after call. It's just so much. Anyways, we appreciate the love, guys and gals. But yeah, let's go jump into our phone calls.
Okay, this is Bernard from Chicago, from outside Chicago.
Hello, Brian and Steven. This is Bernard outside of Chicago. I absolutely enjoy you guys' show. I have two questions. Maybe you guys can help me. My first question is this: what is the direction of Apple when it comes to visually impaired tech for visually impaired people? It seems like Apple is coming out with all these phones with no buttons, and all that kind of stuff. So I was wondering if their stance is still the same as it used to be, business as usual when Steve Jobs was alive, or has things changed? I also have a second question.
My bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's dude, don't worry, you don't have to say sorry to me. It's okay, Steven.
I
It's
forgot
not like
to-
you're running the entire show and switching cameras and playing audio clips and messing with audio levels at the same time.
Yeah, he had a second question, but it cut off, so my bad.
Too bad. All right, I believe was it Bernard, right? It was Bernard.
Bernard, yes.
What up, B? So I would say, and this is not a bias, but historically, Apple has arguably been the phone with the best accessibility options for a touchscreen phone. They haven't done anything really drastically different from that standpoint, but they have, some of the features they have beyond just being able to change the contrast, being able to zoom into the screen with 3 fingers so you can see things a lot more easily. There's also this feature called Switch Control Access, where think of it wherever you wanted to touch, kind of a square appears on each app and kind of goes down the line, and then you can basically say when you want it to select that. So if you went to the settings, you could actually essentially do it without having to really press too much. They have extensive accessibility controls. I'm obviously not the best expert, but I would say most people have told me that they do have the best accessibility features. It just comes down to which ones you use specifically. But I haven't heard of them making any drastic moves. I think even from the past iOS 8 to iOS 9, there weren't many changes to that. But it doesn't mean that they're slacking on it. So
Yeah, I have a friend who makes his text like huge on a screen. You can like make your text really big and bold and stand out. And then also last week, it's not totally related, but last week we had a call from a guy who said he uses the iPad to see things that, because he doesn't have very good eyesight. So he uses the iPad just to see and read books. So I don't know. That's kind of unrelated, but it's interesting.
I would also input in Gardamoy on Periscope did remind me that what I was talking about with the switch control feature, you can actually like turn your head left or right to make selections.
Oh, really?
Based on that switch control I was
that's
talking
cool.
about. So just imagine looking at your home screen and the box is going around each app and it's timed. It's going like dunk, dunk, dunk. You can turn your head one way to select it, and then and then just kind of like shake your head the other way to go back to the home button. It's there. There's a variety of different things like that. So
There's a lot of
just
stuff.
check it out. Just check it out.
Okay. Next call is Sunny from Louisiana.
Hey guys, my name is Sonny. I'm from Louisiana. My question for you is this. Now that Apple has announced it's coming out with the iPhone SE, do you think that iOS 9.4 is going to include an update for the for the iPhone 5S? Thanks guys. Love the show. Just recently started watching on YouTube. Later.
I love you.
Yes.
I
Thank
love
you for
you.
watching on YouTube.
Thank you. The update to iOS, the iPhone 5S is basically, let's see, how many generations is that? 5S, 6, 6S. It'll still get some support. A lot of times you may not necessarily get all the same features from a standpoint of just from hardware alone, the iPhone SE is going to have Apple Pay on it. You're not going to be able to do that. The iPhone SE is most likely going to have the Hey Siri feature. Oh, wait, did my phone? Okay, phew. I didn't want my phone to set off because there's an M9 processor in the SE that is not going to be available in the iPhone 5S. Most likely the software will work, but you just won't be getting any major features that are supporting it. Sometimes, though, I would say whenever a phone is around that 3 to 4 year range, although Apple has improved that, it's not always the best thing to just do the update. You kind of want to wait it out and see what people are saying to see if it is really working for them or not. So
Cool.
cool.
All right, we got one more call from Shamar in Hotlanta. Here we go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, Beecham? What's going on, BTZ? This is your boy, Shamar from Atlanta. Hey, I have a bad apple, and it has to do with what I've seen as far as with the Sony PlayStation Vue. I'm a little upset because I bought the Apple TV, the new Apple TV when it came out, and I know that the live broadcasting service wasn't available at that time, But now seeing what Sony has done, I'm like, what is the problem? I think Apple's level of hubris here is ridiculous. Sony managed to actually make a comparable package that if my particular company wasn't already providing me good service, because I used to be a cord cutter, I would flock to this. This is just great, and I guess I'm at a loss why Apple could not secure the deals for their live broadcast service. And, I don't know what specific features that they were going to offer that Sony is not, but this makes me almost wish that I hadn't upgraded the pucks. That's all. I just had to get that off my chest. It was just like a knee-jerk reaction to seeing it. I'm like, you got all these good pricing tiers, a robust set of channels, better than Sling TV, and I'm like, dude, there's no reason why Apple couldn't have done this. So that's all. Enjoy the show, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Shamar, our boy Shamar, Shamel K, Shamel 2K, depending on what platform you're on. 100% agree. Have been saying this since the beginning of the year. If Apple does not get their TV subscription service in place by the end of the year, it'll be a huge fail. They've got to. Sony's plan starts at $29.99. It's always been really good, but if you look at it, it has all of the core stations you basically want. Everything from like ESPN, TBS, TNT, CNN, Disney. Like it has A&E.
That's all the sports.
It
right
has
there.
AMC. It has everything. It literally has a core. I think it's around like 50. The base model plan is around 50 channels. It goes up to like 75 and then or 70, and then it goes up to 100 channels. But it goes like from $29.99 to like, let me see here real quick here. Goes from so $29.99 for the 55 channels, $34.99 for 70 plus channels, $44.99 for 100 plus channels. And then you can also do some additional add-ons.
That is cheap,
dude. That is true.
$30.
That is $30 for a legitimate TV streaming service.
That's awesome.
And I think one of Apple's things is they want to be able to incorporate some sort of DVR functionality. But right, the network's like, no, we're gonna give that to cable companies. I think that's one of those things. But again, other companies have done it. We've said this before in the past on our keynotes. Sling TV has theirs, although not as robust as PlayStation Vue now. Sony has it, and Apple has nothing. That's just the landscape.
That calls for a bad apple, right? That was Shamar wanted a bad apple.
Oh, he deserved to get a bad apple with them.
There you go. There you go, Shamar.
Tell me how you feel. All right, you guys and gals, thanks so much for calling in again. We appreciate it, but we wanted to kind of end this show on a positive note, right?
Yes.
So Apple has their TV commercials, and we do now know officially, based on this commercial, that Cookie Monster and Siri can understand each other. So with that, we're going to sign off on the show, right?
Real quick,
what do you want to say?
What Cookie Monster is about to do is exactly what I do when I'm cooking.
You literally do these
I
things.
tell Siri what I need done, the time,
set the timer,
music
for the oven. So we'll be here next week. We'll break down everything from the Apple keynote. But again, for those of you listening, you can tune in to CNET.com, and on our big page, you'll be able to watch our live coverage starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But until then, should we let Cookie Monster send it away?
Yeah, let's
All
let
right.
a Cookie Monster do this. All right. See you guys next week.
See y'all. Peace.
Hey Siri, set timer for 14 minutes.
Okay, 14 minutes and counting.
Waiting for cookies. Hey Siri, play me waiting playlist. Thank you.
If I could say time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do
Exactly what I do.
So hungry for cookie.
is to say every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you.
Hey Siri, check the timer.
Would make days
Here's the timer.
last forever.
Oh.
If words could make wishes come